Are you looking for ways to improve your hand lettering? Then this is the video for you. My name's Kayla from PlanningWithKay, and today I'm going to go over some lettering and calligraphy tips and tricks, showing you 5 easy ways to level up your hand lettering. First, let's talk about all the supplies I'm using. For all of my colorful lettering, I'm going to use these dual tip brush markers from the brand Ohuhu, who are actually kind enough to offer 3 60 color sets of these markers to give away to 3 of you watching this video. Entering this giveaway is super easy. All you have to do is subscribe to both my channel and Ohuhu's channel, and leave a comment down below letting me know one thing you're grateful for this week. That's it. The giveaway is open internationally, and on Monday, March 11th, I'll choose 3 winners. So be sure to come back Monday and see if I've responded to your comment telling you that you've won. For all of my black lettering, I'll be using this set of calligraphy pens, also from Ohuhu, which comes with a variety of different brush pens, chisel pens, and fine liners perfect for lettering. And this is not at all sponsored, I just have genuinely been loving these supplies. And similarly, I'm hosting a giveaway over on my Instagram where I'm giving away 3 sets of these calligraphy pens to 3 of my Instagram followers. The Instagram giveaway is open until Friday, March 15th, so head over to my Instagram at PlanningWithKay, linked in the description below. Click on my recent giveaway post and just follow the instructions to enter. Thanks to Ohuhu for being kind enough to offer these products to give away. And with that, let's dive right into 5 ways that you can level up your hand lettering. Starting with tip number 1, which is to play around with the size of your letters. When planning this video, I specifically wanted to offer tips and tricks that would work for beginners and experienced letterers alike. Whether you know how to do elaborate brush lettering already or not, these tips will help to jazz up any hand-lettered font, so you don't need to know how to do any fancy cursive yet to apply all of these techniques. To illustrate that, I'm going to start off with a simple capital letter print font, just using a basic fine liner without any sort of brush tip. So what do I mean by playing around with size? What I mean is you can take any style of lettering and create a ton of interesting variations just by altering the height, width, and scale of your letters. See what it looks like if you squish the letters to be really narrow or squash them down super short. In contrast, take those same letters and make them super wide or really tall. Here I'm demonstrating on this basic print font to show just how simple variations in size can transform the same letters into a ton of different fonts and styles. What's more is the size of your letters can also change within the same word or sentence, just like in these Wednesday examples here. And I personally love this mismatched lettering style. Try alternating short and tall, big and small, wide and narrow, all within the same word or sentence, and see how much visual interest this instantly brings into your lettering. This trick of varying the size of your letters is super versatile, and it works for any font or lettering style, including print and cursive. Here's a look at my basic cursive font and how purposefully altering the width or height of those letters can create some fun variations of the same header. Now to further demonstrate the power of letter size, I'm going to fill this entire page with monthly headers, using a variety of different writing supplies. And for each monthly header, I'll start with one font style, and then I'll show you how you can alter that style just by changing the letter sizes. This is a really great exercise if you want to practice this at home as well. And throughout this video, do not hesitate to grab some paper, pens, markers, whatever you have sitting around, and try imitating some of these same styles. The number one thing that helped me learn how to hand letter was imitating examples I saw from other people online. So don't hold back, try this out yourself with fonts you already love using, and see how changing the sizes of your letters changes the whole look of your lettering. The second way to level up your hand lettering and calligraphy is by varying your line weight. Line weight is simply how thick or thin the strokes within your letters are. There are a couple main ways you can change the line weight of your writing, depending on what supplies you're using. If you're using a fine liner or any supply with a tip that isn't flexible, you can manually thicken your lines in a style often referred to as faux calligraphy. This means that your line starts thinner, and then you go back over that line again and again to make it thicker, just like I'm demonstrating here. In a lot of lettering styles, it's typical to want thinner upstrokes and thicker downstrokes, meaning that any strokes that you draw from bottom to top should be thinner than the strokes that you draw from top to bottom. This squiggle exercise here is a really great way to practice this, where you draw a wavy line focusing on making thinner upstrokes and thicker downstrokes. If you're using a pen or a marker with a flexible tip or a brush tip, rather than going back over the lines multiple times to thicken them, you can instead use the pressure you push down with and the angle that you push down at to change your line weight all in one go. So just push down harder or hold your pen at more of an angle if you want to create thicker lines, and don't push down so hard or hold your pen a little bit more straight up and down to create thinner lines. This brush lettering technique does take a while to get the hang of, but it's really all about repetition and muscle memory. So don't get discouraged if it feels awkward at first, and just keep practicing. So with those line weight fundamentals covered, let's now revisit the basic print font from earlier and see how we can spice it up. First, I'm showing a faux calligraphy style where we go back with the fine liner to thicken up all the downstrokes. If you get confused about which lines are downstrokes and which are upstrokes, here's a visual that I personally find helpful. As you're writing out your letters, you imagine that your pen is like going up a hill or down a hill. It's either climbing up a ladder or it's going down the ladder, up a slide or down a slide. If it's going up, it's an upstroke and it needs to be thinner. If it's going down, it's a downstroke and it needs to be thicker. So as you're going back and thickening up these downstrokes, if you end up getting a little confused, just kind of trace back over that letter in your head or in the air, and remember that anytime your pen is going down, it's a downstroke and you need to thicken that stroke up. All right, that's enough about the technique. Let's just see some examples now of how I can take different font styles and create a bunch of different fun variations just by altering the line weights. Can't believe I didn't mention this yet. The other major way to affect your line weight is, of course, just by using different supplies. Different pens and markers and brushes, they all have different thicknesses, different line weights. So play around. If you have markers, Crayola markers, paint pens, brushes, highlighters, fine liners, practice lettering with all sorts of different supplies and experiment with mixing and matching those supplies and line weights together. All right, so let's do another whole page of monthly header examples, altering both the size of my letters and now the line weight, so we can show how these two things combined can seriously level up your lettering. I'm also using a variety of different fine liners, brush pens, and markers, all from those two sets that I showed at the beginning, so that way you can see how different supplies can really change the look of your lettering. And again, if you want to practice at home, try imitating what I'm doing here. Fill a whole page with words. I bullet journal, so that's why I default to like weekly and monthly headers, but you can practice lettering with anything you want. Lyrics, quotes, random words, the alphabet, whatever. Just fill a whole page. Try to create as many font variations as you can. And if you run out of ideas, you can always come to this video and copy some of the styles that I'm showing you. Okay, so we've got size, we've got line weight, so what's next? The third way to level up your hand lettering is by adding serifs. Serifs are basically just the little lines that go on the end of the strokes and lines within your letters. So anytime a stroke or a line ends, or anytime there's a corner, you just attach a little extra line at the end, and it just makes it look a little bit fancy. I really love lettering with serif fonts as of late, and here's a look at a print font I've been using a ton recently in my bullet journal. I think it's pretty easy. My version has thick downstrokes because I use this small brush pen, but you could also do the same style with any pen or marker you want, and again, experiment with the size and line weight along with those serifs. Here are a few more examples of entire alphabets in different font styles with serifs. There's a lowercase print font with a fine liner, a cursive brush lettered font with a pen from that calligraphy set, a thick bubble letter font with a brush marker, and I will also always have all of the supplies that I'm using linked in the description down below. All right, so I'm now just going to fill the entire right page with a whole bunch of examples of Monday through Sunday headers and a variety of different serif fonts, also using different supplies and experimenting with size and line weight. For this video, I also decided to release some alphabet stickers in my sticker shop in a variety of different fonts and styles, as well as a few new header sticker sheets. Y'all know I love using stickers in my journal, and it's a really easy way to incorporate different fun lettering styles into your spreads. So if you want some alphabet stickers or any other decorative or functional planner stickers, check out my sticker shop linked in the description below. All right, so that's that on serifs. Let's move on to tip number 4 on how to level up your hand lettering, and that is by adding drop shadows. Drop shadows create the illusion that there's a shadow behind your letters, and it's a super effective way to jazz up any hand lettering or calligraphy style. In general, you want to think about your drop shadow in terms of direction, so primarily left or right, and then optionally up or down. The most important decision you have to make before you draw in your drop shadow is whether it's going to go on the left side of your letter or the right side of your letter. Here's an example of a left drop shadow. So the shadow is going to be on the left side of our letters here. For every stroke, I'm outlining the left facing side with my black pen, and wherever the lines become perfectly horizontal, meaning there isn't really a left or a right side, you can either leave it shadowless or you can choose will your shadows go up or down. And if you choose, you just want to try to be consistent so your shadows look uniform. Honestly though, the consistency of the left and right direction is really the important part here in maintaining this illusion, and you don't really have to stress as much about the upper and lower shadows. I'm using a thick colored brush marker for the letter and then thin black pen for the shadows here, but you can experiment with different thicknesses of shadow, different colors, supplies. Drop shadows tend to be more effective when there's a lot of contrast between the shadow and the letter. So like a dark letter with a light shadow or a light letter with a dark shadow. So that way they both really pop. So A and B here are left drop shadows, and C and D are now examples of right drop shadows. So same deal, outline the right side of every stroke to give the illusion that there is this black shadow being cast behind my letters. If you want to practice your brush lettering and drop shadows all in one, again, this squiggle exercise is a great one. Create some wavy lines like these with thick downstrokes, and then play around with drop shadows going in different directions. If you only have a black pen on hand, you can do an offset shadow like this one here, where there's a gap between the shadow and the letter. And then here's an example of a very high contrast drop shadow using a very light yellow marker and a black brush pen. And you can see how with these same two supplies, you're able to get two very fun and different results. A totally different way to do drop shadows is actually by fully writing the letters out twice. First with the shadow color, and then on top with the foreground color, offsetting the two. This is easiest with a light colored shadow color and then a dark colored foreground letter, but you can experiment with any combination of supplies and colors and see how they interact. So now that I've gone over the basics of creating drop shadows, I'll once again fill this right page with a bunch of examples of Monday through Sunday headers, all utilizing drop shadows to really make the header pop. I'm also still focusing on size, line weight, and serifs, showing how all of these techniques can be used together or separately to level up your lettering. All right, another page of headers done, this time showcasing drop shadows. So let's finish off with my 5th tip to level up your hand lettering, adding backgrounds. This one is pretty open-ended and self-explanatory. Now that you have some tricks for creating cool lettering, throw a background behind your letters to really make them pop. The easiest way to do backgrounds is to just use a light colored marker to create a little splash of color, and then on top of that, you write with your darker color. I like doing fun, loose shapes like these as backgrounds so that I don't have to worry about anything being too perfect. And you can see how a really simple background makes an otherwise basic font really shine. At this point, the possible fonts and header styles I can create really feel limitless. Different colors and shapes of backgrounds, different supplies, materials layered on top of each other, different sizes and line weights, serifs and drop shadows. I'm really starting to utilize all of these things together here, and it's creating a lot of fun lettering options. This entire video was honestly a really great lettering exercise for me, starting simple and then amping up step by step, filling an entire spread with lettering for each technique. It made it feel a lot easier to come up with all sorts of creative lettering styles by breaking it down into these 5 categories and techniques. So to finish off, let's just summarize. We take a basic font, we mess with the letter size, we vary the line weight, we add some serifs, add a drop shadow, and then add a background. And just like that, you've seriously leveled up your hand lettering. I hope this video was helpful and answered some of your lettering questions that you had, or gave you some ideas and inspiration on your own lettering journey. My favorite thing about these tips and tricks is that anybody can use them. Cursive isn't required, no specific supply is required, and even just with a simple print handwriting, you can create letters that really pop off the page. If you have any other lettering questions, drop them in the comments below, and maybe I'll make a part 2 video going a little bit deeper, answering your specific questions about lettering and calligraphy, especially in reference to bullet journaling. And that's it. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for new videos every week. Don't forget that this video is also a giveaway, so read the description to learn how you can enter to win one of these 60 packs of these Ohuhu brush markers. Make sure you head over to my sticker shop if you want to buy any planner stickers, especially my new alphabet and header sheets. Check out Instagram for the calligraphy pen giveaway, and all of those links are also in the description below. Lots of exciting things this weekend. I'm so excited for all of the giveaway winners coming up, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.